Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Trucker Tank, where we're fueling implementation for the truckers and the business, aspiring business owners of the future. Today, we've got a friend of mine who's a professional truck polisher or detailer, and I've known him for years and proud to call him a friend. We've got Mr. Justin Seaton. Welcome, Justin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. It's finally warming up just a little in Georgia. It's been so stinking cold. It's not funny. We don't deal with cold down here very well.
I know the feeling. It's warmed up. It's probably 50s here today, so it's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, I know you have been polishing trucks forever. And so how long you've been polishing trucks and serving the truck driving community, Justin?
Well, I've done it off and on when I was in high school and college, and then I got away from it and bounced around through the trucking industry from, dispatching to running fleets to driving to hot shotting to mechanicking. Done everything pretty much on the truck involved. But we got back into it, pretty hard, detailing again. Just one of the deals I enjoyed doing. Got back into it pretty hard about 10 years ago.
Yeah, and that's 10 years goes by before you can blink. I know you go to all the truck shows as well. How many you got on your list this year?
They're starting to stack up, which the first one will be at Matt's.
Yeah.
And, we'll average anywhere from 9 to a dozen. We may add a couple more this year. It just depends. But we try to take care of, everybody within the state and our local guys, too.
Well, I know I'm going to be at, I think, 10 at least already this year. Tony's got booked, and I'll be going along with Tony Justice and all his shows and promoting little BullSnot. How long does it normally take to fully polish out a truck? How long does that take?
Well, it just really depends on the condition of the truck. I mean, because between the road debris and Aluminum Brightener, which, is one of our worst nightmares, the sanding and stuff, I usually base everybody on, tell everybody 5 to 6 hours, just to be safe.
Well, what's the issue with Aluminum Brightener?
What it does is, it's an acid base, and once you pour acid on aluminum,
it etches.
It etches, and the thing about it is it can be one of our best friends, or it can hurt us. A lot of people don't know the proper way to use it, and you being a chemist know anytime you use acid in heat and let it set, it intensifies it.
Yeah, and even caustic will do it. Go to the other end of the spectrum. You can burn aluminum with caustic. High pH, low pH, both of them will do it.
Yeah.
And
it's one of them deals where if you're into it, you almost have to be, a chemist or a science and know what to do as far as, just like you said, a degreaser will do the same thing in the heat. Actually, degreasers are stronger than acid. At some point, it just has a different effect.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's been the most interesting thing you've ever had to polish? Because I know you've polished about everything under the sun at one time or another.
One of probably the most, I say enjoyable. It was kind of nerve-wracking because it was so thin. We done a 75-year-old Cessna plane last year, and it was pretty interesting. And actually, we're fixing to do another Cessna the first of next month. And those are pretty exciting because, the way they come out and the way they look, Plus, we done a 63-year-old Bambi Airstream, and it come out real good.
Yeah, I remember seeing that Cessna on your Facebook page. And for everybody, go. It's Oaky Shine for your Facebook page, and also just Justin Seaton. You can find him on Facebook everywhere.
There's a business page and there's a regular page, and then of course we're on Instagram and TikTok under Oaky Shine.
Yep. So you can check out his work. He's done a lot of neat stuff. I mean, he's taken some old trucks that really were questionable whether they would polish out, and they look like it's brand new. That's pretty amazing work. And so, what does it typically cost to fully polish out a truck?
Every polish is different.
Yeah.
We try to keep our prices down where the guys can afford, where we can do them twice a year. An average fee, I tell everybody, you're looking at around $600.
Yeah.
But, it varies. Like I said, it varies on the sanding and everything. I've had guys who are like, well, I paid this much or I paid that much. Different regions, different areas, the prices are different.
Yeah. Well, $600 after what I've seen you do and how you look after you polished one out. I mean, it's a dirty job. $600 sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Well, when we try to do it, we try to educate, and that's the biggest deal. It's just like your product or anything. You're going to educate the consumer. Proper way to take care of it, the maintenance, what you use, what you use. But the hardest thing is we deal with the truck washes, the guys going in and out of the Blue Beacon or here or there. Them guys wanting to use an acid-based soap or a high pH soap because it makes it easier on them to wash it. It's less scrubbing and washing. That's the biggest thing. And then, of course, you fight with your hard water or them rinsing the under the sleeper where the panels drip down onto the tanks. There's a lot of variables, but a lot of guys are getting real good about, that we've done over the years. Hey, I went here and I had them do this, It's starting to catch on and pick up, which is a good thing. No timers have their own secrets of way of taking care of stuff too.
Yeah, what most people don't realize, the reason a lot of car washes or truck washes use caustic is because it'll break down grease. That high pH, you're going to be at a pH close to 14, which is the end of the scale for pH. But caustic is dirt cheap, and it does cut grease, but it is not good for aluminum and really not that good for a lot of things. I mean, so... And then I know a lot of truckers don't let them use the brushes on their paint because it'll scratch it all up as well. So,
and that's what I tell a lot of the guys because, like you said, the caustic, and they're like, "Well, I just have citrus." Well, citrus is just it's an acid base too, just a different way. It takes a little longer, but if you'll notice, a lot of these older trucks that's got the factory paint where the clear coats are breaking down.
Yep.
That's what that's from. It sits on top of the cab or the hood, and most of the places they break down is places that don't get washed good or rinsed good, or it's a low spot where the water is set or the soap is set, and that's what causes that and breaks that acid down, or breaks that clear coat down, and then once it starts breaking down, it starts separating out and peeling it. And it's from that high pH level stuff. You want to stay at a neutral pH level.
Yep, totally agree. That's the reason most of my products are they're dead centered. It's the pH of water, 7. So what you got in the shop right now? Are you working on?
We're actually down here in Elk City at JKM. He's got a couple of trucks that he's got, just basic trucks. And then his dad's retiring. He used to drive an Atlas. He's got a big sleeper truck that with the full living quarters and stuff in it. And we're just trying to get them ready because they're going to sell it next week. Well, I say next week. the week after next, I can't go. I got to stay close to the house next week. It's my 15th year wedding anniversary, so my wife told me I had to stay close.
Or you get a whooping.
Oh, yeah, or I get grounded. And so after that, we'll be headed to Caldwell, Texas, down to Equipment Express, do some stuff, and messing around there and bouncing around that area, getting some trucks ready for Louisville.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, that's what most people don't realize is the life you live as a truck polisher. You do a lot of travel and a lot of bouncing around to get it to do it. It's just be nice if I'll come to your shop and let you do it there, but that doesn't happen like that.
Well, we looked at putting in a shop, and I bounced it around, and the thing it is the drivers is on the road, 20, 25, 30 days out of the month.
Yep.
And it's so much easier, and they like it better. I can schedule enough at their location or their shop or, their headquarters where I can show up and they can go home and do what they want to do, or they can take their break while we're doing their truck.
Yep.
And, we run anywhere from 80,000 to 120,000 miles a year. And I joke with them guys about logging and me running more miles than they do, but,
But you don't have to keep a logbook, so you're good.
But, one thing about this industry is, you get to meet people and see different part of the country and work on something different every day, something different. there's stuff that pops up that I haven't seen or haven't done, or a driver asks you to do something, and it's enjoyable. I've always, I've been in the trucking industry since I was 18, so we're looking at over 30 years, and it's just been something I've always enjoyed doing.
I'll tell you what, I wish everybody could come to a truck show one time and see how much pride the owners of these trucks take in their rides. I mean, truck shows are so much fun. They're family friendly, and what's crazy, you get to meet so many people that you're friends with on Facebook. You never met them until you go to a truck show, and then you meet each other, and it's like you already know each other very well. It's just
when we started this. When I started back doing it, it was kind of funny because I had a 24-hour road service and we had a shop and everything, and it was the time when we had all that tariff tax and stuff on tires, and you didn't know what you was going to do from day to day. And my wife was they were detailing cars and stuff out of my shop, and they were running 10 to 13 through a day. I mean, they were doing pretty good. And I just kept messing around, and I told her one day, and I was like, you price something one day and the next day it's gone up. And you don't want to call a customer and say, well, I told you this and now it's gone up $20 a tire. And I said, I think I'm going to go back to polishing, because there were some local guys that had me polish their trucks out. And I kind of started doing it again and forgot how much I enjoyed it. And so that one day I told her, I said, lease is bad up on the shop. I think that I've got to I'm gonna go back to doing that full time. And she was like, what do you mean? And she's like, we're gonna starve. And I was like, I've got enough put back for the year that if we don't make it within a year and I don't see nothing good, I said I'll go back and find a job in corporate's office dispatching or doing something. I mean, I've got a big enough variety of education in the trucking industry. I used to do DOT audits and everything else, so I thought, I'll go back doing that. First year turned out pretty good, and then we started growing. And who would thought, we go places now and people was like, hey, and I'm like, if I seen your truck, I'd probably recognize you, but, I just don't know who you are. And you hear people all the time and get acquainted with people. And just like, you and Tony Justice and I've done Blake Shelton. We do Blake Shelton's tour bus. I've met him. I met quite a few, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and most people don't realize how difficult it is and how scary it is to start a company from scratch, just like you did. You got everything on the line, and if you don't have a little bit of money put back, you're probably going to get in trouble real quick because you don't immediately start making money. You start spending money, but it takes about a year and a half before you start making money, and then you start.
I tell anybody that starts a business, because when I started Tire Shop, it was the same way. I thought, well, we're going to go into it. That was my goal, was always to do something that I could grow for my family. And I joke all the time to my little 3-year-old grandson and my other granddaughter. I'm like, this is y'all. I know y'all ain't going to get out there and get, but slowly we started coming out with a line of products and doing different things. And I'm like, this is y'all's future. If y'all want it, if something happens to me, here it is. If not, disperse it out, and just like the guys that's working with me, I tell them, I've got 2 guys that work with me that's great. They jump in there and help, and they've learned and they paid attention. And, my boys is doing different things. My daughter's husband really not interested in all this. And I tell them, I'm teaching you something that when something happens to me, y'all can keep going.
Yep.
It ain't something y'all just got to, oh crap, I ain't got nothing else to do. Y'all keep going. Y'all's trained. They can do it without me if it needs to be.
And they work. I've seen your crew. Good gracious, those guys work. They don't stop till the job's done. That's for sure. And it's very.
And they're young and they enjoy it. They've got. You never work a day in life if you're doing what you love. And
amen.
And they enjoy it. It's something because they see the outcome. And then we'll go home on days off and everything, like, hey, can I take this home and work on this? And I'll go by their house and they'll have everything in their yard polished out. And I'm like, okay, but they like to see the outcome of stuff.
Sure. I mean, everybody likes to get a job complete. And if somebody wanted to get into polishing trucks, what advice would you give them to start with? And assume they've never done it before.
I tell her it's a learning process every day. We learn something new every day. You can go to YouTube and watch these videos. I tell everybody they're good, but they're bad. They teach you enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Anything that you do or watch educational videos, nobody's going to tell you their full secrets. Nobody's going to tell you, the steps in between. That stuff can be edited where it looks easy.
Yeah, amen.
And, the biggest thing is to find somebody and go and sit with them, or take your time, find something, an old wheel or an old tank, and start working on it. Pay attention. I've got guys that come and sit, just hang around and watch us do it, and then they'll call and try it, and I'll try to work with them and everything else. The biggest thing is these guys, I see them working in the industry or the businesses, or they start a business and don't realize just because you go and make $600 on a truck, 30 to 50%, you need to drop back in that.
Yep.
Because you got supplies, travel, you got this, that, and it's hard because you think, well, I only done this many trucks today and only made this amount of money, and I'm going to drop this much back on the inventory. I mean, there's times that we order, $1,000 worth of inventory just to keep with us to have it,
And nowadays you got to.
You start slow, and the biggest thing is, I don't know the good way to put it is, just because you made one wheel shiny don't mean it's going to happen every time, because everything's different. The grade of metal, the atmosphere, the temperature, everything works on that. Take your time and work it up. These guys, this one, the one that's been with me the longest, he's been with me for 4 years. I stuck him on boxes for the first year that he was here. That's all he ever seen. That's all he ever touched was a box.
Yep.
Until he got it down, till he, was knocking them out. Then we moved him to something else, and he'd come behind me. He would try it. I was like, "Go try that." Okay. And now he's figured it out. But there's still times, he's like, "Hey, what do we need to do here?" And now I'm doing the other one the same way. It's just time. I mean, it takes time.
Yeah.
So it ain't nothing you're going to throw you ain't going to go to YouTube and sign on to a YouTube and watch a video and be a polisher. We're all human. We make mistakes and things happen. Nobody's better. And I tell everybody, we're not the best. We're not the greatest. We learn every day. We make mistakes. We have flaws, but at the end of the day, if the customer's happy when they roll out or we leave them, that's my main goal. I don't worry about what anybody, says. Oh, well, I see this, I see that. Well, we're polishers. We deal with it every day. We see it.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if the customer or the consumer's happy, that's all you have to worry about.
Well, I know you have a product line as well called Oaky Shine. Are you having any supply chain issues getting the materials to produce the Oaky Shine?
Well, at first, we started out having problems getting the bottles.
Yeah.
And now the bottles are all right. Of course, anything you buy, you bounce around and try different stuff. The sprayer nozzles we had, that they were having issues. But right now, if anything's silicone based, silicone's gone through the roof, and it's stupid. But there ain't nothing we can do about it, because the sad thing about it is we've let everything depend on being provided to us by another country instead of producing it here where we need to be doing it, and we should be doing it.
Well, but some of the silicone oils are produced here by Vocker, and but they probably just can't keep up with supply either. I mean, because
and that's because that's the only one in the United States that's doing it.
Yeah, that's the only one that I know of.
Yeah, it is, because we've checked. I think silicone for a drum of silicone is up over 3,000 right now, and silicone's in everything that you use. From makeup. And that's what I tell a lot of women, if they don't want to spend a lot of money on makeup, just come and work with us today. We can give them the best eyeshadow or whatever they need by the end of the day.
By the end of the day, they're going to be gray. I mean, the only thing on you that's not gray is your eyes.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of funny because, we go in a lot of different areas at the same time. And, I try to stay at the same motels when we go in the area, but when we first go in there, they just look at me like, "What's wrong with you?" And I've been in quick trips at Oklahoma City, and there'd be 20 cops in there, and I walk in there, and they're all just looking at me, and then we get to joking around with them, and they're all wanting to take pictures with us.
Yeah, most people
got to take a picture of this.
If you've never seen somebody after they polished a truck, you need to just see Justin. Justin's the greatest guy out there. He'll take pictures with you. He'll talk to you, show you about how you polish trucks. But you need to see him after he's done one, because he truly is gray from top of his head all the way down to his shoes. I mean, because you got to cut the wheels, and when you cut those wheels.
I used to tell my wife, because of course I'm getting up there, and I've had gray hair since I was probably in my 20s, and I tell her that by the time I'm done polishing, that adjustment for me, it ain't got nothing on me. I got the best hair dye that there is.
That's true, brother. Well, we're about to get towards the end of the show. Do you want to tell everybody your website and your phone number in case you need to have the truck polished out?
Yes, of course you can find us on, like I said, Facebook. There's Oaky Shine and there's Justin Seaton. There's two of them. On Instagram and TikTok, we're under Oaky Shine. The website's www.oakyshine.com. The phone number is 405-567-9509.
And I have seen a lot of his work, and he does fantastic work. Everybody in the trucking industry trusts Justin. If they got problems, we call him. Any questions, we call him and say, Justin, what, have you ever seen this? And he goes, yeah, I've seen it. This is what you need to do. Great guy.
Well, and that's where a lot of people get, we don't only do, of course, we don't only do metal. We do everything from, interior work to buffing the paint out, taking oxidation off, coating, if you do anything in the detail world to clean that truck, let us know. We carry an ozonator machine with us all the time, so if you want to get rid of the smoke, or it worked real good for COVID trucks there for a while. We was running in a lot of dealership trucks for them.
Yep. Well, now you know how to get a hold of Justin. Justin, I appreciate you being on the show today. Appreciate your time. For all the people out there listening today, hit the like button on the Brown Ox Company page. And if you're on YouTube watching this, please subscribe to their channel. And Justin, hope you have a safe day, brother. Appreciate you being on here.
You too, Van. Thank you, sir.
See you, buddy.